All right, let's talk about something every growing business runs into. You hit this point, right? You know you need some serious, high-level marketing strategy to really compete and get to that next level. But then you look at the cost of hiring a full-time executive and, wow, that's a huge commitment. So the big question is, how do you get that big league marketing brain without the big league price tag? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
I mean, look, in the world we're in right now, you just can't afford to have marketing be an afterthought. It's not something you tack on at the end. It's the engine. It's what separates the businesses that really take off from the ones that just stall out. And that creates this huge problem for so many companies, right? You need that top-tier leadership to build the engine. But the budget for a full-time hire, it's just not there yet.
And this really is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps founders and CEOs up at night. You're dealing with all these complex challenges. You know you need a real, data-driven strategy. But that six-figure salary, plus benefits, plus the whole long-term commitment of a chief marketing officer, it feels totally out of reach. It's the classic catch-22. You need the growth to afford the expert, but you need the expert to get the growth. Okay, but what if it wasn't this all-or-nothing decision? This is where a really modern and, honestly, an incredibly flexible solution is starting to get some serious attention from smart businesses. We're talking about a model that's basically designed to bridge that exact gap between your ambition and your budget. So let me introduce you to the fractional CMO. Now, the most important part of this whole definition is that phrase, seasoned marketing executive. This is not a junior manager, okay? It's not some big agency where your account gets passed on the line to a newbie. We are talking about getting the same strategic mind, the same deep experience, and the same leadership you'd get from a full-time CMO. It's just delivered in a way that actually fits your business's needs and, your budget. So you might be wondering, why is this model suddenly everywhere? Why is it exploding in popularity right now? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The benefits directly solve the biggest, most painful problems that growing businesses are dealing with, especially when the economy is, let's say, a little unpredictable.
And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. I mean, affordability, that's the obvious one. You're only paying for the exact expertise you need when you need it. Flexibility is huge. You can ramp things up for a big product launch and then scale right back down afterwards. No long-term baggage. Then there's the expertise. You get access to a level of talent you probably couldn't afford otherwise. And finally, and this one's super important, you get objectivity. A fresh set of eyes from the outside that can spot opportunities or problems that your internal team is just too close to see. Let's just put this side by side because it makes it so clear. The old way, you're on the hook for a full executive salary, benefits, bonuses, the whole shebang locked into a long-term contract. The fractional model? Nope. You swap all that for a simple, flexible, scalable contract at a part-time rate. The big takeaway here is you're shifting from a massive fixed overhead cost to a much smarter variable strategic investment. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But who is this really for? Let's get specific and look at a few different kinds of organizations because this model is way more versatile than you might think. And hey, you might just see your own company in one of these examples. For startups, honestly, this is a total game changer. Think about it. Instead of just guessing and throwing a bunch of different tactics at the wall to see what sticks, a fractional CMO comes in and builds that crucial foundation from the ground up. We're talking about defining your brand, figuring out exactly who your target market is, and launching a go-to-market strategy that actually works from day one. This is how you avoid burning through that precious early-stage cash on stuff that goes nowhere. Now, what about B2B companies? The challenges here are totally different. You've got these long, complicated sales cycles, a lot of decision makers. It's a tough nut to crack. A fractional CMO who gets B2B can come in and design the lead generation machine, optimize those sales funnels, and make absolutely sure that every single marketing dollar is tied directly to a revenue goal. It's all about building a predictable sales pipeline, not just making noise online. And if you're in the SaaS world, you know the game. You live and die by predictable, scalable growth. A fractional CMO with that specific SaaS experience is going to focus like a laser on the metrics that actually matter: your customer acquisition cost, or CAC, your retention rates, and constantly refining those marketing funnels to keep that subscription engine humming. This is the kind of stuff that's absolutely critical if you're trying to land your next round of funding or just get to profitability. And it's not just for-profit businesses. For nonprofits, this model can be completely transformational. Budgets are always tight, right? A fractional leader can come in and build these incredibly powerful donor engagement campaigns, improve community outreach, and make sure that every single marketing dollar is stretched as far as it can possibly go to maximize the organization's mission. It brings a level of strategic thinking that so many nonprofits desperately need, but just can't afford full time. All right, that's enough theory. Let's look at a real world example of how this kind of strategic leadership translates into actual, tangible, and frankly, pretty surprising business growth. This is where the rubber really meets the road. So, I want you to meet Best Deal Movers. This was a solid, established company. They were doing fine. But their online presence, it was pretty weak. And they knew they were just leaving money on the table online, but they had no idea how to actually go out and get it. So a strategic marketing partner comes into the picture, and instead of just saying, hey, let's build you a new website, they started with research. And what they found was fascinating. Turns out people weren't just searching online for movers. There was this massive untapped demand for moving and storage services. So boom, the whole strategy pivoted right there. They optimized the website to highlight both services and created an SEO strategy to go after those high-intent keywords. And check out the result. This wasn't just, a little bump in website traffic. The demand for that combined service grew so fast, so overwhelmingly, that the company literally had to go out and open a brand new 10,000 square foot storage facility just to keep up. I mean, think about that for a second. A digital marketing insight directly led to a massive physical expansion of the business. That's incredible. So what's the big takeaway here? The real win wasn't just about SEO or keywords. It was about having a strategic partner who could look at the data, see a hidden revenue stream that no one else was seeing, and then build a concrete plan to go out and capture it. And that, right there, is the difference between a tactician who just does stuff and a true strategist who drives growth. Okay, so if you're thinking this might be right for you, here is a quick checklist of what to look for. First, you need a proven track record. Ask for case studies, just like the one we just talked about. Make sure they have real, relevant experience in your industry. It matters. Demand a flexible contract that can scale with you, up or down. And maybe most importantly, make sure they are absolutely obsessed with delivering a measurable return on your investment. No fluff. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. If you've been putting off hiring that strategic marketing leader because you think it has to be this all-or-nothing full-time executive, is that mindset actually limiting your own growth? Because what the fractional model shows us is that there's a smarter, more flexible way to get the exact expertise you need to win.